Let's continue with this presentation. I know that some of this is a little abstract. You've read about it, hopefully, and reread if you need to. You'll look at this presentation, have my explanation, but you'll be using it in some exercises shortly. And then you may find that you may not quite understand it, or maybe you thought you did and you don't. You have to go back to the book and go back to the presentation. But we'll be using it soon, and it'll be a little less boring and a little more challenging, maybe. So I talked about the downloading a document. These are non-web files I'm talking about. So if it's an HTML document, that's fine. If it's any of our image formats that we use, a GIF, PNG, JPEG, those are all fine. But we're talking about especially Word documents, PDFs, Excel files, other more specialized files. Things you're going to want to open other programs, things that may not display in the browser. Your visible text, that's the text that's inside the open A, then the close A, this text here, it should explain a little bit about what's going to happen. Download the poster in PDF format. If it's very large, you may want to even give a size, which might make someone choose, maybe I'm going to do it, maybe I'm not. Especially if, imagine if they were on a handheld device over a Wi-Fi that wasn't so good, maybe they would decide not to. So you want to always give the user the control. Linking images. So we saw that we can make a link in an ahref, and then we close the A, and the text in the middle is that highlighted linkable text, clickable text, right? But what about if you want to have an image to click? Well, it's a link too. In fact, an image can go inside an ahref, just like text can. And here's an example. I have an image called PSU-PNG, which you're going to use in exercise shortly. I have alt text for it, that's fine. It's just additional good information. It's its own little tag. There's the open IMG, close IMG, and it sits within an A, an ahref. So when I click on this image, PSU-PNG, I will go to this website. And target. Now, commonly these days, when you click on a link, it opens up in an existing tab. Used to be, when you clicked on a link, it would open up an existing window. We have more tabs than windows these days, because we have multi-tab browsers. It works the same way, though. But what if you want the window to force to open up, what if you want the link to force to open up in a new tab? It would be like opening in a new window in some of the older browsers. Well, you can force that. You can, here's an ahref, right? Just going to SUNY Plattsburgh, there's the URL, and there's the clickable text, SUNY Plattsburgh, right? I give it another attribute, an attribute of target. Target equals _blank. That will force it to open up in a new window. We used to do this all the time. There used to be an idea that you didn't want users to leave your site. So when they clicked on an exterior link, you would force it into a new window or a new tab. And then when they came back, your site would still be up. These days, most everybody knows how to do a right click on a link and choose to open in a new tab if they wish. So I think that this is less commonly used now and is seen a bit old-fashioned or heavy-handed in taking the control away from the user. But it's still there if you want to try it. Okay, and again, it's really important. What is the lead-in, the text that comes before the link? What is the text that is the clickable link, too? And different links have different requirements. So I have a handout on the best practices. This is a separate handout, which is a PDF, which is available also on Moodle. I'll just go over it briefly. In absolute links, these are links to exterior websites. The lead-in text might say, go to SUNY Plattsburgh, or visit SUNY Plattsburgh, or on the web SUNY Plattsburgh. These days, this lead-in text may not be necessary at all. We're talking about the text before the link. The visible link text should be short but descriptive. We don't actually give the URL in the link, but we would say the words SUNY Plattsburgh, for instance. Or you might, if it was something that nobody knew about, maybe you'd say SUNY Plattsburgh, or the college in Plattsburgh, or imagine you're linking to a music site. If the name of the music site makes sense, like New Bluegrass, okay, but maybe you might want to be giving more information in the clickable text. New Bluegrass, a magazine, online magazine about whatever. Behavior. There's a debate here, but I think we should let the users decide. Therefore, we probably don't use a target, a blank. Okay, relative links. We're going to have to discuss these more in the future, but there's probably no lead in text. Relative links are like navigation, home, contact, experience, so on and so forth. So the wording is usually very recognizable. It simply goes to the page. There is no target involved. Email links. The lead in text should probably explain, contact me via email, or contact me, or I can be reached at. That's the text before the link. Now the link is going to be the full email address. The only reason not to do this is you have to be aware when you put email addresses online, the actual text, then spiders, web spiders, like robots that go around the web and pick up information, can get that information. Now, they would use it perhaps to spam somebody, but they wouldn't do it in your name necessarily. So it's just a way that it's gathered. And there's so many places to get email addresses. I don't think this is a big deal, but you could keep it in mind. What happens when the people click on the link is it automatically tries to open an email program. And many people don't like this. That's why we give the actual email address in the visible linked text. There is no other behavior or target available for email. Phone is a similar idea to email. Explain what's going to happen, please contact me at, or give me a call at, or whatever. Usually we give the full, in this case it's not address, it's the full phone number with the area code, even a country code, because remember the web is international, especially if you're expecting international visitors. Only works on some phones though. So the best informational purpose is the phone number gets out there so people can see it. Anchors don't have any lead in text. This would be like navigation within a page, a very large page where you want to go to the bottom or the top or some subsection of it. So it's not going to a new page, it's on the same page. You give the clickable word does give directions like back to top, or maybe you're going to go to a day of the week or go to a category, like a letter, like everything under the letters S through Z, go here. It moves you to the current location on the page. There is no target necessary or available. Download doc is, you should be very specific in the lead in text and the text that is clickable. Together they need to explain that this is a non-web file. What is the file format? What is the type? What is the size? In the old days we used to even give download time, but that's harder to say these days. And you also want to make sure that they know the name of the file, the program that's involved. So I would include a file extension or suffix. Often it opens up a wizard, a download box, a new program. PDFs may open in the browser, especially modern browsers, but it's still worth mentioning that it's a PDF. And you can use a blank, target blank, if you wish, for downloads. Okay, so there is that document. More about links. Now let's try some links in an exercise.